Yeah, one more round of applause for Rebecca Heimlich with Americans for Prosperity, State Director. Yeah, she didn't even introduce herself, did she? Yeah, but she was instrumental in trying to get people up here today. Very grateful for her and for her contributions. But again, my name's Mike Wilson. I'm the president of the Cincinnati Tea Party. Welcome to our Statehouse. We're here today because of common sense. All right, we somehow, over the last 20 years, things got out of balance, things got out of line. Our public sector grew faster than our private sector. Union leaderships conspired with corrupt politicians to make promises that they knew they couldn't keep. And now we are here today faced with the day of reckoning, and unfortunately we have to make some hard choices. And I'm here today because I want to commend Senator Shannon Jones, who introduced Senate Bill 5, for having the courage to make those hard choices. There's a small chance she may join us out here today, so we'll see how that ends up happening. But again, to me, this bill is about common sense. I'll tell you what it isn't, though, first. All right, this bill is not an attack on our public employees. This bill is not an attack on our middle class. This bill is not an attack on jobs. This bill is about math. And the simple fact that our government has grown bigger than our taxpayers and our citizens have the ability to support. We've suffered as citizens and taxpayers during this recession. Anybody taking a pay cut or had their 401k match go down a little bit, or had to pay an increasing share of their health care over the last couple of years? Anybody? Yeah, Lord knows it happened to me and my family. All right, all we're asking for here is for the public sector to feel a little bit of the pain, because you know what? Right now, we're on the hook for both. We saw our retirements go down, and yet we're on the hook for making them whole. Okay, we're on the hook for supporting them, and all we're asking to do here, okay, is get things back in balance. Get things back in balance with the private sector. That's all we ask. It is simple fairness. So what this bill does is it gives our state and local governments the ability and the tools to make those decisions, because right now they don't have them. Right now, if they want to try to get their budgets under control, they're limited to crude and ineffective tools like furloughs and layoffs. That's it. There's no ability to ask people to take a collective pay cut. There's no way to change the level of healthcare contributions to try to bring costs more in line. And so we have this situation where 85 out of 88 counties, state government workers, make more than the private sector. So this bill, again, is about putting things back in balance, making things fair for both us and for them. And understand, one more time, we appreciate our public, we appreciate our firemen, we appreciate our police, we absolutely do. All right, let's not forget that as we do this. All right, but I'll tell you right now, I resent the way union leadership parades them around and makes them the public face of this. This is not an attack on them. This is about trying to make things fair for them and make things fair for the taxpayers. Thanks for being here, and I'm going to turn the microphone over to... I did. Yes, I did. I did introduce myself.
Yes, but he didn't say all the good things about himself. He is the head of the Cincinnati Tea Party on the Ohio Liberty Council, and this was his idea today. So give him a big round of applause.
Like I said, I'm just a citizen like you, trying to do my part to make things better for my kids and my family. And now I'm going to turn the microphone over to someone who is far more knowledgeable about this issue than I am. His name is Matt Mayer. He is the director of the Buckeye Institute. They are a conservative public policy think tank here in Ohio, and they have wonderful, tremendous research and work here in our state. Check them out, buckeyeinstitute.org. And with that, Matt Mayer.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How's the First Amendment feel today? Yeah! Good. Listen, it's going to be a fun day for you guys. You're going to be surrounded by a bunch of good men and women who do great things for us. And don't forget that, and let's not make sure we belittle them. All right, our firefighters, our police officers, our teachers, they do things for us, and we appreciate those things. So let's not do what they do to us. Remember, the union boss called us all mentally retarded. Remember that? Yeah, let's not do that. Right? Let's make sure we're respectful, but let's make sure we stand up for private sector taxpayers in Ohio. Here's a fundamental reality that nobody wants to deal with. We have 600,000 fewer tax-paying workers in Ohio in the private sector than we did 10 years ago. They're paying for roughly the exact same size government that costs a whole lot more. That's a fundamental reality. So you've got to have some type of realignment to deal with the new normal of revenue that just isn't there for gold-plated packages anymore. It's just a fundamental reality. Okay? Can you hear me now? All right. The other thing we got to keep in mind is, again, what we need to realize is we have a very different economy in Ohio than we did 10, 20, 30 years ago. But we did some data crunching, school district's own data, 613 of them, and they're projecting in 5 years to have a deficit of $7.6 billion. At that time, 96% of all revenues will go to compensation packages. So you can buy cheaper toilet paper, you can, do back office consolidation issues, but if you don't tackle compensation package problems, we simply will have to raise taxes on property owners as their taxes have already gone, as their properties have already declined in value by $8 billion in just 5 years. So we can't do that. We already have a state and local tax burden in Ohio that is not attracting businesses, that is causing businesses to leave this state, and we've got to get prosperity back is the #1 focus for all of Ohio. All of Ohio. But keep in mind, we love the First Amendment and we want to have a vigorous debate, and we should. Some on the left, especially those union bosses, don't think this is a legitimate topic. They think this is somehow wrong of us to think that we should actually question whether public sector workers, as Franklin Roosevelt himself opposed, should have the right to collectively bargain. We don't begrudge government compensation, be paying our teachers and our firefighters and our police to do the work they do. They do important work. We just can't afford to pay them what we're paying them today. So we've got to just rein it back a bit and not stick him in poverty, not put him on food stamps. No one's talking about that. Those are just nice talking points on the left, but it's not reality. We're just talking about a realignment to get things back in place. So keep that in mind. You're fighting on behalf of taxpayers. You came here voluntarily. We love what you do. Be respectful. Be respectful. Stiffen the spines of those politicians, because my goodness, folks, they have those wobbly spines. Stiffen it for them. Stiffen it for them, because they're hearing every day, throughout the day, by the union folks every single day, and they're getting pounded. So you got to get your voices heard, and you got to do it in the right way, and you got to get your neighbors to do it. But all we're talking about is standing up for taxpayers, right? And the 4.1 million, now we're down to 4.1 million private sector workers who've already taken one heck of a shellacking the last 2 years. So do what you need to do, fight for taxpayers, be respectful, that's key. And let's go ahead and show them what real First Amendment rights are all about. Thank you very much. Have a good day.